and I'm feeling very well.
Breakfast, a check.
Did you do it again?
Yeah. Good morning, Prague. How are you feeling today?
Not hungover, which is good. Unlike most of Prague.
We are out on the streets of Prague and we're going to go try and see some stuff before everybody else wakes up. We're going to go to Old Town and then the Jewish district. Then we might go to a museum or two.
Got clocks all over this boy.
It not only shows the time, but the date, or like the day, the month, the year. It has a zodiac sign.
Hold up.
In 1410, making it the third oldest astronomical clock in the world. 1410, that's insane. It's been ticking away since then. Description of how it works.
It's far too complicated.
That's complicated. I'm going to spend an hour deciphering it.
So the little figures that are in kind of the centre of the screen now. There's vanity, greed, death and lust. And the apostles appear in the windows, as we saw just now when it beamed. Street cleaners are out in force this morning, and much respect to them. Not only bottles and stuff like that, but fireworks as well. Right, so we're heading to the Museum of Prague. City of Prague Museum.
The Museum of the City of Prague.
The Prague
Prague.
Museum City.
It's the Communism Museum and the Jewish Museum we might go see.
I think Communism Museum's got to be my favourite.
Yeah.
Yay for communism.
Wow.
Life is like a box of chocolate museums. You never know what you got. You really don't know what you're going to get in Prague.
Doubles up as a chocolate and wax museum.
That's it. Let's go and have a look. Whoosh. Here we go.
Different exhibitions go through Prague and prehistory, medieval Prague, Prague in the turn of the modern era, and Baroque Prague. Where we are now is we learn about the inhabitants of Prague from early prehistoric times to the arrival of the Slavs when they came, what they looked like, what they ate, they farmed, what their clothes and accessories they wore, and how they thought and how they buried their dead.
The first people arrived in Prague Basin almost 750,000 years ago.
And it was the creation of Prague Castle that moved Prague into its medieval era and kind of moved it into its position of power from there.
And that's what you call a tower shield.
Churches were hugely important in the formation of Prague as they created different parishes which ultimately formed the city itself. It was the 13th century, or the 12th and 13th century, where the Gothic style came into Prague, and the formation of Charles IV's University helped bring a lot of importance to Prague, and the creation of Charles's Bridge.
Now entering early modern Prague.
Prague at the turn of the modern era, the second half of the 15th and 16th century was the late Gothic time where Renaissance ideas and art first spread to Prague.
It's a good thing you did a history degree, isn't it?
So after the Prague Castle fire in 1541, a lot of the old town burnt and were replaced with new Renaissance buildings, so that's why there's a mixture of Gothic, medieval and Renaissance new buildings in and amongst Old Town and New Town. Just like most cities during the Renaissance period, it became like a hub of art and artistry. Rule of Rudolf II, I think, which brought a lot of Italian, German and Dutch kind of influences to Prague, and a mixture of styles kind of came about. And it's interesting to see a mixture of those styles.
It would make more sense, actually, if he was like the head of the Roman...
Yeah, the mixture of everything.
Yeah.
So one of the most important parts of the Baroque period in Prague is the 30 Years' War between the Protestants and the Catholics, which kind of overtook a huge part of the culture. Prague suffered the consequences of suppressing uprising of the estate. As a result of the defeat of the Battle of the White Mountain, there were many anti-Reformation measures. In the 1600s, you basically had to be Catholic or leave the country, basically. The tense sensualism of the victorious Catholicism brought a new style, Baroque. It dominated Prague from the 17th century to the late 18th century. Baroque art significantly contributed to the sculptural decoration of Charles Bridge in 1710.
So Charles Bridge is important because there were no other bridges going to the castle. Good bridge. What we're looking at now.
Yes,
1826 to 1837. This is how Prague looked. I bet we can find our hotel. So that's the old town square where we were this morning. Charles Bridge, the castle. And that's where we were last night. Wait, what? The model was made in 1826. Wow. That's impressive.
Over 2,000 buildings in the historical centre of Prague.
That's very cool.
Plasterboard paper on a wooden frame.
It's the original clock face as on the astronomical clock. The replica is now standing in its place on the clock now. But this was the original.
You're cooking up something tasty?
Have some patience. It would take ages for it to cook. There's nothing even in there.
Yum.
Sticks for breakfast. That was good. Yeah. It's interesting to learn about the history of the area. With some lovely music. Bash. Just the one. Let's have something to eat and then see what it's all about. That's intimidating.
We're in the Museum of Communism. And this is, I guess, the story of what they went through.
So the monument for Stalin, that's where the metronome is now.
The Stalinist culture dictated the communism, annihilated free artistic expression. Some writers and poets were imprisoned in communist labour camps or died. The communist fairy tale was people who were working with their hands to the bone and are not allowed to sing. While Disneyland was opened in the USA, the success of communism was largely down to its propaganda. So people believed what they were told, and all they were told was...
You're just told, it's working.
Yeah.
Your efforts are Great.
Capitalism is bad. Don't go to Disneyland. In the 20th century, people left Czechoslovakia in several waves. People fled from the Nazis in 1938, from the communists in 1948, and from Russian soldiers in 1968. Once communism took over in 1948, they criminalised leaving the country. They meant that culprits were not just breaking the law, but from fleeing another country, they were enlisting themselves in service of the enemy. On September the 29th, 1968, Saturday officially became a non-working day, and like everywhere else, the civilized world, a 5-working week was introduced into Czechoslovakia. In the 60s, it was seen as a little bit more of a easing up of the kind of oppression that they'd seen in the past, and with the civil rights movement and all of that happening in America in general, it kind of felt like some sort of progression was being made even over the other side of the Iron Curtain. The democratization process culminated at the spring of 1968, hence the moniker the Prague Spring. Many viewed it as a bridge between the East and West, and hopefully the example of a coexistence between socialism and Western democracy. However, the Soviet Bolsheviks could not allow democracy to be victorious in Czechoslovakia. There was too high a risk for the other communist countries becoming inspired by the events of the Prague Spring. Normalization was the process that they called it, in which the Moscow took back the reign of strong communism over Czechoslovakia. Censorship was reinstated, and the regime once again decided what was broadcast on television, what people read, and what they were supposed to think. It was 1989, Tiananmen Square, fall of the Berlin Wall. In Czechoslovakia, people could sense the end of communism in the air from the early year. A demonstration organised by students on November 17, 1989 sparked the historical change. What was originally a permitted event grew into an anti-regime protest. The students had set in motion the Velvet Revolution, which led to the fall of the communism regime in Czechoslovakia. On particularly astute observation, the fall of communism took 10 years in Poland, 10 months in Hungary, 10 weeks in Germany, and 10 days in Czechoslovakia.
That was very interesting. It's interesting to see, like, a lot of the places we travel to, there's always world history affects everywhere we go. It's usually noticeable, it's usually like the world wars, but things like this, post-World War II, communism kind of taking over Prague and Czechoslovakia. It's just interesting to see kind of the effects of the progress it had, where the rise of communism and then the control of communism and then the breakdown of communism. The one thing that I think I'm going to take from it is the importance of the media. That's a very, very important thing to be aware of, you know. Anyway, enough like important stuff. Let's go and have fun.
Let's go back to
I like
Old Town Square.
Okay.
Probably going to be a bit busier.
Yeah. Taking it home, maybe. It's nice to go through the back streets. You get all these cute little pokey views of places. Damn it.
Pretty. As nice as things like this are, it's good to point out what the actual realism is. We are here at a very busy time. Charles Bridge is chock-a-block, you can't walk across it. And this is what this area looks like right now. Full of people. Quiet spots that you might see on the internet may not always be actually that quiet, because everybody has access to that internet.
Respect the city is the main thing.
Remember that you're sat, or like, kind of take it in when you're there. Leave it as you want it, because there's a lot of litter here as well. It's very beautiful.
Wonderful.
Love you. Yeah. An interesting little tidbit is the Franz Kafka Museum that we're at now has to peeing sculptures, and they tend to spell out quotes from Franz Kafka.
And yeah, I like the fact that his butt's weird.
As we quickly come past, we'll probably come past another day.
Yeah.
But the world's narrowest street.
Yeah.
Complete with traffic lights to direct traffic. Let's go early in the morning.
Yes.
And have a look at that.
People and
Yeah.
stuff.
Wow, right. Let's go up this hill.
Let's get a better view.
Already it's not bad. Yeah. Oh wow. Very cool. Incredible view. Absolutely incredible. Like, just can't beat it.
It's really cool.
Right, let's go down and look at possibly some more fireworks. Check. Oh.
Stop saying Czech. I keep forgetting to say Czech.
Yeah.
It's taking all the funny.
Yeah. God, I bet it was pretty up here.
It's the air quotes calm before the storm.
Yeah, I was glad we were down there yesterday, but we'll see what we can see today. good. Is there more over there? More going off. Star Praha. Let's try this.
We're going here for some food.
Let's do it.
It's supposed to be pretty good.
Yeah.
It's just nice to be warm.
Yep. Very cozy. Bohemian traditional, that's what we want.
And the goulash.
We've done the goulash, that's what we did yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to go for the pork dumpling and cabbage?
Okay.
Schnitzel, what is
This is 13, the pork dumplings and cabbage.
I'm going to get this.
I can never do it.
Yeah!
I'm getting one of these.
Here you are.
Ramen.
It sounds right.
Non-alcoholic.
Yeah, it's nice.
That's about right.
That was good. Oh, that tastes really good.
Oh, it's good.
You're nice, it tastes like beer.
I just don't like alcohol.
I like the taste of beer.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Alcohol.
That's
Nazdravi. It's very sweet.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, sweet, gravy.
Have it with some dumplings.
It's completely the opposite of how it looks.
Yeah.
It looks brown and boring. This is amazing.
That's amazing. Yummy! Right, where to next?
Across the bridge, back to the hotel, and sleep, and then tomorrow, new plan.
Yeah. Nah.
It's like last night again.
Yeah. Duck. Sit. Go. Why is it always me winning? No.